Okay, so getting back into our coverage over the From the Ashes, A New Beginning, we're going to pick up with X-Men issue number 2. Now, guys, like I said, I'm trying my best to cover both old and newer comics on the channel. I kind of want to make sure we have an equal balance between the two things. But getting back into our coverage over From the Ashes, A New Beginning, we do pick up with X-Men issue number 2. Now, remember, when it comes to Cyclops X-Men team, they have two goals at the moment. The first goal is to go around the world to find different mutants who are coming into their powers. They're beginning to learn that they are mutants. Now, their second goal is to also go after a organization called the Force School. Now, the Force School is trying to bring up a new type of species, a combination of humans, mutants, and also AI. Now, they don't really play a role in this storyline today's video, but they're still kind of in the background for us to worry about as the series goes on. And so today's video is really more of the X-Men trying to help out a new mutant. And so that is why we're jumping over to San Francisco, where we do pick up with a young mutant known as Ben. Now, when it comes to Ben, he is homeless, but we do see that he's kind of freaking out about the possibility of them coming back for him, trying to take him in. Now, we see that he is confronted by a social worker, and he's trying to help out Ben. But the problem is Ben powers does activate, and all we see is a huge flash of lights. And that kind of brings in the arrival of Cyclops X-Men team. Now, in my last video, I saw some comments of people saying like, hey, I don't like the combination of this team. And I kind of agree, but at the same time, I kind of disagree. For some people out there, they don't like the idea of Juggernaut being on the team. And for me, I'm kind of like, hey, it's great to see his character evolve to the point where he is on the X-Men team. Now, for me, I don't like the idea of Kid Omega being an X-Men. I don't know why. For me, it's always like a background character or some other X-Team character. But either way, he's on there once again. But you do have the X-Men arrive San Francisco looking for the new mutant. But the problem is, when they arrive, there's a huge alien invasion. So for Cyclops, he says, you know what? We're going to break up into two teams. The ground team, Psylocke, Cyclops, and Magic, they're going to handle finding the mutant. The rest of the X team is going to try their best to deal with the alien invasion happening here in San Francisco. Now, I kind of want to jump back to the point where I basically said how there's some folks out there who don't like the idea of Juggernaut being on the X team. But for me, I kind of love the idea of him being on the team because we're going to see them use Juggernaut in a different kind of way. And honestly, I love the idea of how they use Juggernaut to attack the mothership of this alien invasion. Now, here's the problem though. For our heroes, they're wondering, what kind of alien are these? Like, where they come from and why are they here on Earth for? But I kind of want to get into the whole idea of why I love this book so much, because we're going to pick up with the Juggernaut being used as a way of a bullet. Now, as we all know, in X-Men comics, you have things called the fastball special, where usually it's Wolverine being thrown at a target. You have someone super strength being able to throw Wolverine at a target. Usually it's Colossus, but occasionally it will be other characters throwing Wolverine at a target. But this time, it's really more of Juggernaut being used as a bullet. And for me, it's kind of like the fastball special, but a whole new level because they have this railgun to shoot Juggernaut out of at the mothership of the alien invasion. And so for the mothership, it gets blown right out of the sky thanks to Juggernaut being fired as a bullet. It is one crazy thing to see, but at the same time, it's kind of cool to see as well. But getting back over to Cyclops, Psylocke, and also Magic, you had the three characters still fighting against some of the aliens on the ground. Now, for Psylocke, she tried to use her powers to read the mind of one of the aliens on the ground. But here comes the problem. You see, for Psylocke, when she tried to use her powers, she realized that alien does not have a mind of its own. She was unable to pick up any thoughts from that alien at all. Now, for Magic, she realized realized that when they were taking down aliens left and right, the ones they had defeated earlier had just disappeared, turned into smoke. And matter of fact, when it came to Juggernaut, when he had blew up the mothership, it also turned to smoke and just disappeared. And so for Cyclops, he realized what is happening here, that this is all being done by the brand new mutant. And so for Cyclops, they must hurry and find the mutant, stop him, so that he can stop the alien invasion before people get hurt. Now, for Ben here, he's not like completely young. It's not like he's a teenager. It's really more of like he's in a young adult age. But the problem is, usually when it comes to people becoming mutants, they get their powers at a very young age. But for Ben, it seems like his powers had just activated at a young adult age. And so for Cyclops, he's kind of wondering what in the world is going on with Ben. Now, for Ben, he tells us that he was abducted. Now, he believes that he was abducted by some aliens who had worked on him and did something to him. Now, like I said, there is a group out there called the Fourth School whose main goal is to bring in a new kind of species, a combination of humans, mutants, and also AI. And so it could have been them who had worked on Ben in a way to turn him into some kind of mutant. Either way, you do have our heroes being able to talk to Ben, but the problem is Ben is not trying to listen to our heroes because he believes that the X-Men are with those people who had took him away a long time ago, that they're trying to take him back over to those people who had hurt him. And so for Ben, his powers are going out of control. Now for Cyclops and the rest of the team, they're trying their best to talk him down, but he's not listening at all. And so with his reality warping abilities, it gets to the point where he just disappears. And we're kind of left to believe at first that his power is so wild that he kind of just took himself out of existence. Like he no longer exists in this reality anymore. But then we kind of find out that that is not technically true. You see, with the powers of magic and also Kid Omega, they were able to make the entire world believe that when it came to Ben, he took himself out of this reality. But in reality, he's being kept right now at the base in Alaska. And so you have the X-Men kind of wondering, who in the world had messed with this young man? Like, what did they do to him? And how can the X-Men properly help him? And so we're going to end today's comic book video on that note right there. So please leave me a like down below and also subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.